Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Woo!
Welcome to the PHLY Flyers post-game presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And tonight was certainly not ordinary, Hinks. We've been doing this a while now. We started
like today?
Today. We started our coverage at 9:30 with pregame. We went all through the game with watch along. Thank you all to everyone who's been with us all night.
Tomorrow.
It is now almost 1:10 a.m. here on the East Coast.
Yay!
And the Flyers have won 3-2 in a shootout. Talk about not ordinary. I know that they had a winning record in shootouts for maybe like the second time in franchise history last year, but to open the season, to give up the early goal, tie it up, give up another one, tie it up again. To open the season with a shutout win, we talked so much in pregame about how this feels different. This feels different. Winning a shootout. That's. I think JJ said there's 60 and 100 all time in shootouts.
Yeah.
61 and 100.
61.
Hot damn. That felt pretty damn good. Listen, if we're going to be up till 1 doing this, if we're going to be subject to a 5-round shootout, they better freaking win it.
They better win.
And they did.
Thank you.
They did tonight. Sam
Morgan.
Ersson stopped 4 or 5 in the shootout. He was spectacular pretty much the entire night.
He was.
Definitely. I mean, the first period could have got away from them fast if not for Ersson. Tyson Foerster, great game, but he didn't score in the shootout. It was Konechny extended it in the 3rd round, and then finally Morgan Frost walks it off in the 5th round with a shootout goal. I don't even know what to say anymore. That was thank God they won, because this would be real disappointing otherwise.
Extremely Flyers to take the first game to a shootout.
It was
at 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
It was quite an excursion the entire night, and we had so much anticipation coming into this one because it was the debut of Matvei Michkov as well as Jet Luchenko. Neither find themselves with a goal or an assist.
Surprise!
Jet Luchenko, no points, -1, 14:36 time on ice. Michkov, no points, did take that early penalty to get himself on the sheet. 18 and a half minutes. He ended up with 4 shots on goal. Certainly had his opportunities. Had his opportunity in the shootout as well. But we must wait another night for Michkov's first goal.
So tomorrow is the night.
It freaking better be. And
Guaranteed.
we'll be here tomorrow. No watch-along tomorrow. But we'll be with you for pre and post. No watch-along. But we'll be with you for pre and post tomorrow when they take on Calgary. But tonight, it is all about beating Vancouver. Vancouver starts their season with 2 straight overtime losses.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
Sucks to be them.
But what was the thing that stood out to you most tonight, Hinks?
So I would say Sam Ersson was their best player.
Yeah.
And he had to be in this game or they would have lost handily. And that's a good thing because we've been saying it all summer. The goaltending is the most sus part of this entire roster. It's the biggest question mark. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what we're going to get out of these 2 guys over the long term. We still don't know what we're going to get over the long term out of Sam Ersson, but what we saw tonight was an incredibly steady, incredibly confident, very good goaltender. And that's great news.
Again, stopped 4 or 5 in the shootout, stopped 24 of 26 through 65 minutes for a .923 save percentage. That will get it done most nights.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I will absolutely take that. And I always like to guess Charlie's 3 stars before we have him on and then make him name the 3 stars. Ersson has to be number 1. That goes without saying, I think.
Doesn't he always pick a guy? Does he always pick a guy from the other team?
He will. When they lose, he definitely does.
Okay.
But outside of him, I thought Brink was really good tonight. I thought Foerster was really good tonight.
I thought Brink was not great.
I thought he worked his way into the game and then started to make some pretty good plays. Brink ends the game with an assist. He's -1. He did end up on the score sheet for that power play goal the Flyers scored. I guess those are my standouts tonight is Sam Ersson, absolutely, and the penalty kill. coming
The
up
penalty
huge.
kill looked great.
Once again, they had a few shorthanded chances.
Right where they left off.
Didn't cash in, but holding this team with all that firepower, like when we were watching that shootout, all we could say was like, it's dude after dude. And when you're down 5-on-4 to them, they can apply the pressure. And the Flyers PK appears to be that elite unit again, at least through 65 minutes this year. I believe they held Vancouver to 0 for 5 on the 0 for 5 on the power play. Flyers were 1 for 4. I'll take 25% if they can extend that. That 100% they started with was pretty nice, though.
We were shooting for the moon there.
It absolutely. 25%. This team will be top 3 in the division.
Seriously,
it's truly almost unbelievable that they were as close as they were with no power play production last year. I'm just gonna do this now because I want to get them done. We're trying here, fam. We're really trying here. Hopefully, Charlie joins us at some point from Vancouver.
Charlie,
but until
please.
then,
It's only
I got to tell you about 1-800-588-2300 Empire. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So they've got copycats, but those copycats can't beat Empire on quality, service, or speed. So what do? They just advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire doesn't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that, they're just putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in their own. The Empire philosophy is not to overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes, but to give you what you want, give you the best possible selection, and you can see it. You can see it for yourself with the virtual floor designer. All you have to do is snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, and all listeners and watchers can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY for details. And while we're here, I got to tell you about our friends at Ace Hardware. That's right. If you've got a leaky pipe, Ace Hardware Home Services, they're around the block with everything you need to fix it, including the person to do the fixing. Air conditioning issues like I had a few months ago, they've got a person for that, just the same as they do a leaky faucet or any of the problems around your house. Because now, Ace isn't just the helpful hardware folks. They're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they've got the trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing helpful home, the helpful you love from the store, now to your front door. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project today. I like when those back up so I can use the today again and
it's great.
Put a bow on things.
You're doing good.
So Matvei Michkov, definitely showed some flashes, had some chances tonight. Doesn't score. Were our expectations so high? I mean, we have seen some rookies come out right away this year. Macklin Celebrini going an assist, like we said in pregame. Sure. Stankoven, 3 assists in the opener. Of course, he's not really a rookie.
I was going to say, he's been here for 16 years.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a disappointment that he didn't score, but definitely showed us that nose for the net. And you create this many chances, you're bound to put up some points eventually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would have been awesome if he scored, but it did seem like, to me anyway, it seemed like at the start of the game, he was playing a little bit conservative. Like maybe he was nervous. He looked to be looking for passes more than taking the puck to the net himself. I think maybe he was just kind of easing into the game. By the end of it, he looked like he was really feeling himself. He got some really great chances. He was doing between the leg stuff, trying to score
that
goals.
just would have been.
He was looking like what we were expecting Michkov to look like, and so that's why I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not.
He's in.
Not the least bit worried about it. Just a little God, man, it would have been cool. That's all. But guess what? They're right back at it tomorrow.
He could have a 4-point night tomorrow.
Maybe he will. I mean, he did average 2 points. The last game, he only had the 1 point. So 1.75 points a game in the preseason. He clearly has a nose for getting the puck to the dirty areas, as we like to say. There is not a Blue Chew read coming up now. But I do agree with you that he looked, I don't know about hesitant, but you said gripping the stick a little tight.
I just feel like he was probably nervous.
We saw him so sure-handed with the puck in the preseason.
Yeah.
And yeah, the lights are brighter now. It's all NHL competition. But we saw him fumble a little early in the game and just not look like the polished offensive force we saw in the preseason, at least in that first period. He definitely came along and had his chances and a bounce here or there, and he could have had a two-point night without a doubt. Jet Luchenko. I said he was -1. He blows the coverage on the one goal. Just loses his man, drifts a little bit. Guy beats him to the post on that. It was a really nice play on the goal. Point man gets the puck all the way across down low, and he's able to tip it on the far side. But Jet Luchenko, we were told, no, the details of his game are why he's here. Staying between your man and the net is one of those details. That said, I didn't see any glaring mistakes other than that. Maybe a turnover here or there, but I thought he was fine.
Yeah. It was kind of like the end of the preseason with him. He didn't look actively bad, really, but he didn't really make much of an impact on the game.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing here. And if that's the case, do you expect him to get the full nine? How do you expect this to go with him if this is it? If it's he's out there. He's not hurting them, but he's not making a difference.
So someone in the chat during our watch along said something that I think makes a lot of sense. He's here for 9 games to make a bunch of mistakes and learn what he needs to do better in the NHL. And if that's what happens, I think that's a good thing. Like if he's up here for 9 games and he makes mistakes like the one he made tonight, and he gets a little talking to from Torts, he watches some videos of what he did wrong, and then in 9 games he heads back to Guelph and he learns how not to do those things. I feel like that's a net positive. Like I don't see anything wrong with that.
Absolutely. And just a little thing, because it's an easy counting stat to look at, but you look at face-offs. I look at them for young players as a tell of how they're holding their own in all the battles, because face-offs are real freaking hard, especially for young guys. Like Sidney Crosby eventually turned himself into a good face-off guy.
Yeah.
He sucked the first couple of years in the draws. 3 for 9 tonight, 33%. So not a huge sample size. Thing that stands out to me, though, he was awesome on O-zone draws in the preseason. 1 of 3 tonight. 0 for 2 on the power play. Sucked in defensive zone draws in the preseason. 2 for 2. Just one. It's a very small sample size.
The whole team was bad on faceoffs
Yeah,
tonight.
only 42%, and faceoffs have been historically a statistic that the Flyers have done excellent at.
When we had Claude Giroux.
Yeah, when we had Giroux. But even Sean Couturier last year, after the first couple of games, kind of started to get the faceoff thing back. I think the Flyers were at a little bit of a disadvantage for the... I wish I had bet on them, but I didn't. But it was one of the reasons I didn't. Like those small things that you just kind of have to work yourself into. And I think face-offs as a whole is one of those things.
That's
like
fair.
We heard Coots talk last year. Like, okay, how you feeling? What's coming back? He's like, the face-offs are coming back and the offense is still a little bit away, but I'm starting to feel it. And then, of course, he got hurt again and it never came back. But you saw him eventually build up to kind of where he was historically, but it took him a bit. I can see that being the case for the Flyers, and this being their first game against Vancouver's second. They got beaten up a little bit in the face-off circle.
They sure did. They got beaten up a lot tonight. They looked pretty sloppy in the neutral zone. We talked a lot about the zone exits were pretty messy on the whole. They just didn't seem like they looked like a team that hadn't played a game.
Yeah,
we said that during the watch along. They looked like a team that hadn't played a game in a while, and that's because they hadn't. So hopefully this is just them easing in. Like if this is a trend that continues for 3, 4, 5 games, then all right, maybe we got something to talk about. But like if they look way better tomorrow, like we're good. We're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with what I saw tonight. It is just the first game. And as they said on the broadcast, like even that last preseason game, nobody played in it.
No.
It's been over 10 days since the last time they suited up. Again, Vancouver 2 days ago played an overtime game against Calgary.
Right.
And it showed. They were absolutely rusty tonight. Ersson did look good, Ave. I agree.
What a great comment.
It was absolutely tremendous.
So
just
insightful.
The best. Someone who I thought was good from the jump, and he scores the first goal of the season for the Flyers, Tyson Foerster on pace for those 82 goals.
Yep.
Not quite the 169 he was on pace for in the first period, but 82. It's pretty damn good total.
Yeah.
This is a guy, I said during the, I'm doing the Chris Collinsworth. This is a guy right here. I keep saying it. But
I don't get that reference, but I'm going to laugh anyway.
Okay. Someone out there will.
All of them, probably. I don't know their stories.
Foerster, 15 games without a goal to start last season, but he ends his rookie year strong with 20 goals. And he's very much a dude that the Flyers look at as high-end talent.
Yes.
When you say to them, well, you don't really have any of the, Mishkov, sure, TK, okay, but outside of that, and they go, whoa, and they've been saying this for 2 years.
Yeah.
They go, no, we think getting Foerster at 23 was a huge gift as well. Some giftable goals. Yeah. A huge gift, and we think he has top-line potential. Well, he's on the board game 1 this year. That's a hell of a start. I'm really excited. I think Tyson Foerster is the guy. I mean, it's one game. He stood out the most tonight. But he is absolutely, I think, looking towards a breakout 30-plus goal season.
I think so, too. And it's good to see like a continuation of where he ended last season rather than another slow start from him. So this makes me feel pretty confident that he's going to take a step forward this season. Again, it's like so hard to analyze anything after 60 minutes.
I know
of game. But listen, he looked really good tonight. He scored a goal in his first game of the season. Last year, it took him 15, 16, whatever it was. And like, he's one of the guys that needs to continually take steps forward if this team is actually going to be something resembling a contender in 2 or 3 years. And so if this is the start of him taking another step forward, meaning, scoring way more goals than he did last year, which would be good, like, that's good, positive, promising.
20 is a nice start. Also, scoring his way up. 20 goals is not what it was even just a few years ago.
Well, he's on pace for 82.
Yeah, we need guys to make that jump. Like TK from 30 to 36. Tippett from 28 to 30-something. And if Foerster can be another one of those guys who suddenly, from 20 to 28 or 32, like that all of a sudden puts them in like the number of goals you need to score to make the playoffs. Like that's what it comes down to. They just could not create any offense last year.
Yeah.
And I really like the way he did it. This wasn't with his awesome shot, and he got a few of those off tonight, Foerster did, but he did it by going to the net on a nice passing play on a night where this team could not string together passes. It was tough going out there for the passing game. They made a couple to make that play happen. Brink to Farabee. Foerster puts it in at the doorstep.
So you mentioned Tippett in that little talk there. What'd you think about him tonight?
Not enough.
I want to see more from him.
No points for Tippett. 17-11 time on ice. He ends up with only 2 shots on goal, which is simply not enough for Owen Tippett. Couple of high danger chances, I thought, but Owen Tippett has been a guy that when he shows up, he's one of the best players on the ice for a period, a game, a shift, whatever it is, you notice him.
Yes.
And when he doesn't, he's completely invisible. Way too little out of Tippett tonight.
Yeah, he's a guy that, in my mind, he needs to take that Konechny jump this season. Like, you got the big contract. Now is the time for you to, like, take it to the next level. And what we saw out of him tonight is not going to get him there. Again, one game.
Yeah, this isn't sweeping generalization about who he is. Just an observation.
In this one game, I was hoping to see a little bit more from him because I expect him to be one of the leaders on the ice. And we didn't really see much of anything from him.
No, and that's the thing is he is part of the younger core. But at this point, he is a veteran. That's who Owen Tippett is.
Right.
He is. He was in the 2017 draft, which doesn't feel that long ago, but it freaking was. He's 25 years old, and that $6.2 million right now. 27, 28 goals for $6.2 million. That's about right. But you need surplus value if you're going to win a championship.
Yep.
he has to create surplus value. He needs to be a 35-goal scorer.
Yep.
Maybe have that Jeff Carter season. Great speed, great shot. You put in 46 the one year.
That would be nice.
That sort of kind of production. And listen, 81 games left. It's tough to do this and be like, oh, well, I need to see more out of Tippett. And we could tomorrow. He scores
tomorrow.
He scores a hat trick tomorrow, and he's on pace.
It's a whole different conversation. Yeah,
he's on pace for 90 goals. But
the beginning of the season is so silly.
Yeah, it's very funny. It is nice to see some guys get off to a hot start tonight. Who do you think was the best defenseman tonight? Because I can't say anyone really stood out.
No one blew me away.
Cam York scores the goal that somehow, and he did not lead the way. Sanheim led the way in ice time, 24-18. Only 20-47 for York, so Sanheim quite a bit more. But York scores that goal that they somehow didn't even see on the ice because it was a blast.
Yeah. We knew immediately.
It just obviously looked in, and Lawton was right there and was like, that was clearly a goal.
Yeah.
I did not sidetrack. I didn't know that they could just blow the horn in the middle of play.
I feel like I've seen that before.
I feel like so often we see, and then at the next stoppage, they go back, and if they have to, they put time on the clock. Like, it was in, and we added 12 seconds or whatever. But this just, Canucks take the puck up ice. They have the puck in the offensive zone. It's just like, nope.
It's probably better to do it that way because it could get real messy. Like, if the Canucks had scored on that rush or something, then we're taking goals away. Everyone's getting pissed off. It's
we saw it with Tyler Myers tonight. So much can go wrong. And then that, you got hurt on a play that technically doesn't exist. If they have to... Play could go on forever. No one goes off sides. Puck stays out of the net. Puck stays out of the stands. You could have 4 or 5 minutes of continuous play. And then someone gets hurt. And it's it didn't even count. Actually, that time on ice won't even be part of your total, and you got hurt on it. So I do think it makes a ton of sense. I just don't know. I don't remember seeing it. Also, I forget everything once the season ends and a new one begins. So this might be common practice.
I don't remember yesterday.
Jamie Drysdale, a guy we've spent a ton of time talking about this season. 1837 time on ice, no points, -1. 3 blocks, though, tied for the most with Sanheim on the defense.
I thought he looked okay.
I thought he looked, healthy, took a couple of hits in the corner and made the play anyway. It's what we need out of him, those Chemo Timonen-style plays. And while we badly need offense out of Drysdale, we need some offense out of our defensemen.
Sure.
I liked his defense for the most part tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing. We also need defense. And he looked pretty good. And like you said, what I was happy to see was that he was able to play physically and look totally fine. Didn't seem to be laboring at all.
No, and that's the most important thing. When we talked our best and worst case scenarios for certain guys over the last couple of days, it was, okay, let's take injury out of it because everyone's worst case scenario is a season-ending injury or whatever. But he just so badly needs to play. That is the worst case, is if he misses a ton of time.
He's got to play,
Hopefully with reps, with the opportunity, the game we need out of him as the dude we got for Cutter Gauthier comes along.
Yeah.
But more than anything, he needs to be out there and logging almost 20 minutes tonight. That is a very good start for him.
Ristolainen, not bad.
Up and down. He made
a mixed bag for him, but he had a couple pretty good plays.
The play to draw the penalty, he's back checking. He's getting back. There's 2 Vancouver forwards coming down the right side of the ice. And the way he got over and bumped through the first guy who's driving, so it's not a legal pick, but he's trying to interfere, but it's a legal interference play. He bodies right through him, takes the angle, gets in front of the puck carrier, and that guy ends up taking him down, and Risto drew a penalty.
He drawed it.
Yeah. That I thought was one of the best plays of the game, honestly, that the Flyers made. I was really, really impressed by that. Saw him join the rush a little bit, like I said, during the game. Want to see a little bit more offense out of Risto. I know you want it just so you can trade him.
Well, we also talked about that it kind of does seem like he can only keep one thought in his head at a time.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, so
he fixed his defensive game, stopped scoring altogether.
So let's just take what we can get from him. If it's going to be defense, I'll take it because he's a third pair guy. I don't.
Absolutely, yeah. Beyond that, I mean, kind of it doesn't seem like the Flyers ended up winning this shot battle 31-26, but do you have the expected goals numbers handy? Because it was like 77% for Vancouver at one point in this game.
Let's see. The game ended with the Canucks at about 62, Flyers about 37.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done. Luckily, like they scored. These are 5-on-5 numbers.
Yes.
Luckily, the Flyers score on a power play, and that is a great way to make up for that sort of differential.
It does
Hasn't been an option for them the last few years. It shows up tonight with a power play goal.
Yeah, a lot more even at all sits.
But I'm going to attribute this, as we have many things tonight, to the rust. Because they were such a good 5-on-5 team last year. It was the power play where they couldn't generate any offense.
Yeah.
I got to believe that these numbers even out. Also, the Canucks have Stanley Cup aspirations. Like, this is a very good team.
The Canucks have very good players. And the Flyers did, for long stretches of this game, look like they didn't know what to do with themselves. And I do just have to assume that's because they haven't played any games.
Some would say bajiggity.
They look bajiggity.
And
100%.
while the Flyers won that shot battle 31-26, like I said, I'm going to try to guess Charlie's 3 stars. He's going to pick Kevin Lankinen as one.
Yeah.
He was awesome tonight.
You got to go Lankinen, Frost, Ersson, right? Not in that order, but those are the 3. I'm going.
I think Ersson has to be one.
Yeah.
He wins and he stands up in the shootout.
Yeah.
Frost maybe
2.
Frost for the winner. But yeah, Lankinen stops 29 out of 31, 935 save percentage in the 65 minutes of play. Stops 3 out of 5 in the shootout, which for a Flyers goalie in the past would be like stopping 5 out of 5.
Yes.
But I was coming in, I wasn't sure who was going to start, but Chivos got destroyed.
We were making jokes about the goaltenders before this game.
Without Demko, like that is a huge hole for Vancouver.
Yes.
And Chivos got destroyed, gave up 6 on 26 shots in the opener. They blew that 4-1 lead. I wasn't sure who they were going to go with because he was kind of their guy when Demko was missing in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But it ended up being Lankinen, and he was awesome. Looks like a nice ad for them. And speaking of a nice addition to the set.
Oh, thank God. Charlie's here.
Finally. Charlie, great to see you. We are joined by Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer. It is Charlie O'Connor. How you doing tonight, Chuck?
I'm doing good. How are you two doing?
So tired.
So peachy.
So late there.
This game going to a 5-round shootout was the most I wish I would have bet that.
Bill jinxed it.
I did.
Halfway through the third. It was on him.
I don't even know where I want to start tonight, Chuck. Oh, the main guys. Mishkov and Luchenko, both scoreless in their debut. Both showed a little bit. I thought Mish really came along as the game went on. What did you think of the rookies in their debut?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with Mishkov. I think this was, obviously, other than the fact that he didn't score a goal, this was very reminiscent to me of the rookie game performance where he got better as the game went along. I thought in the third period, he was one of the best players on the ice, if not the best flyer on the ice. He was great. He was creating. He had that spinorama between the legs thing. He was just noticeable in a very, very positive way on pretty much every shift. The first 2 periods, he had moments. He had that one really good pass to Frost on the power play that Frost very easily could have buried, could have been an early primary assist for him. But I don't think he was dominant by any means. But I thought as the game went on, he looked better and better. And I thought in the third period, I think somebody tweeted out that he had 5 shots on goal in the third period. Like he was involved. He was engaged. And look, I know we present Mishkov as, the savior who doesn't feel pain, who isn't, unflappable, but I'm sure he was nervous a little bit. Like, how could he not be? It's his first NHL game. He had a really long, I don't want to say journey because obviously it was long distance, but the process of becoming an NHL player, it was long and draining. I'm sure it took a lot out of him emotionally, and this was the culmination of all that work. So I'm sure he was a little nervous. Wouldn't shock me if that played into the fact that it took him about, the first 40 minutes of the game to really look like the guy who so impressed us throughout the preseason. So that's Mishkov. Strong game, I would say, overall. Third period was his best. Good debut. Didn't score a point, and that's a little bit of a bummer because that would have been an easy and great story. But I certainly don't think he failed to live up to expectations. As for Luchenko, I think he looked fine. He nearly scores a goal, gets robbed by Lankinen late in the third period. I thought he was strong in the third. Thought he made some good plays on the power play. Also made some mistakes, and I was able to confirm it with John Tortorella that Luchenko is the guy who's at fault on the second goal. Wasn't the only guy. Tortorella basically said that he thought that play gets messed up in the first place because there was a miscommunication between Sam Ersson and Yegor Zamula, where he basically said that in his mind, Ersson could have passed the puck to Zamula. Instead, he does a hard rim. They get the puck back, and then it becomes a big thing. But Luchenko is a little bit late covering his guy. And look, that's the NHL. And you gotta pick up those reads. You gotta make those reads. But I thought, with the puck, he made some plays. He also had some moments like he whiffed on a shot, had some passes that were a little off. But then there were other moments where he had some really good passes. He could have easily finished this game with a point or two. So I would say overall, solid performance, not perfect. I thought there were more warts in Luchenko's game than there were in Michkov's. But overall, I think they both showed themselves well.
Charlie, one of the, if not the biggest question mark coming into the season, the goaltending. Sam Ersson, outstanding, I thought, tonight. Stopped 24-26, stopped 4 out of 5 in the shootout. What did you see out of Ers?
Yeah, I thought he was the best player on the ice. I thought he was great from start to finish. John Tortorella, after the game, straight up said when we asked him for his, more or less, his overall thoughts on the game, the way it progressed, he basically said, I think we won this game in the first period with Sam Ersson. That, our penalty kill was giving up a ton of chances. It wasn't as sharp as it normally is, and Ersson bailed us out. And that's more or less what I saw too. In the first period, Flyers could have been down 2-3-0. Instead, they're down, they're just down 1-0. They end up tying the game. Yeah, so Ersson, to me, most important player on the team for the Flyers. And I think what's so exciting about this performance is that it really did look like just a continuation of the guy we saw in preseason. And I'm definitely one to disregard preseason results. I've seen too many times guys look real good in the preseason and then have terrible starts. I've seen guys look terrible in the preseason and then start off a season with a ton of points. But this Sam Ersson that we saw tonight was the same guy who looked so good in those 2 preseason games. He had that same sharpness, that same calmness. He was tracking the puck extremely well through traffic. He had some big side-to-side saves. He just looked sharp. And I would highly recommend everyone who is a diehard go to allphly.com and read my big feature on Sam Ersson, which got published late last night into early this morning. If you are not a diehard, subscribe and read that great feature on Sam Ersson. But there's a reason why when we talked about our team awards, I guess it was last week when we did that show, there's a reason why I predicted Sam Ersson as my team MVP. I think he's a good goalie, and I think he's going to show it this year. And so far, it's just one game. Certainly not, doing a touchdown dance yet, but he looks legit.
Chuck, is there anybody that you were particularly disappointed in this evening?
It's a good question. I thought Zamula had a rough game. I was disappointed in him. I thought he struggled with the puck. I thought he'd had some moments in preseason where I thought, hey, maybe he's figuring something out. I thought he had a rough night. I would have said Ryan Poehling, but he has a really nice setup on the Cam York goal, so he kind of redeemed himself a bit because that first goal, that's on him. I mean, the pass from wrist to line and the breakout pass, it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. It was good enough. You're the center. It's your job to settle that puck and not allow what happened to happen. And he did. He just missed the pass. And then immediately after Höglander gets the goal, Poehling, I thought it was a continuation, just like it was a continuation for Ersson of a good preseason. I thought that first period was a continuation for Poehling of a bad preseason, but props to him. He comes through in the third period, gets a really nice pass to set up Cam York. So that saves me from calling it an awful game for Poehling, but I still want more from him.
Charlie, Tyson Foerster famously, first 15 games last year, didn't score, but ends with 20. Picks up where he left off, scores in the opener tonight, so he's got that off his back. On pace for 82 goals. You think he gets there?
Oh, easily goal, right? Easily goal per game. Look out, Austin Matthews. We got a new goal scoring champion on our midst.
Right.
What were? Did you see any? Were there any really good John Tortorella quotes tonight?
Not really. I mean, he came away clearly happy with the performance. I think he knows that, they weren't at their sharpest, but it's first game of the year. The Canucks weren't at their sharpest, and it was their second game of the year. So nothing too crazy from Torts. I was legitimately happy because sometimes he can shy away from giving you details about a specific play. I wanted to ask him about that second goal because for me I truly wasn't sure if it was Luchenko's fault, because you could make the argument that Zamula vacated his side of the ice and maybe that he shouldn't have done that, depending upon what they're told to do in the defensive zone. Those are the kinds of assignments where the coaching staff basically chooses what players should be doing in those situations. So I was curious. And a lot of times when you ask Tortorella about specific plays right after games, he'll just blow you off and he'll just be like, well, I don't remember. When he clearly does. He just doesn't want to talk about it. But this time he gave a really good answer. He talks about how, the Ersson-Zamula miscommunication, played into it. And then he straight up said, and a couple questions before, he praised Jet Luchenko's game. He said, they deserved the ice time in the third. I like what I saw from him. But then to answer that question, he acknowledges that Jet was the primary guy at fault, for the breakdown that leads to the goal. And I was impressed that Torts was that forthcoming. So that was probably my favorite quote of his, just because it was him giving more than he usually does to those types of answers. But it wasn't anything that's going to be like blowing up Twitter.
A new era of John Tortorella, if you will.
Let's not get carried away here.
Chuck, what would you call the best line tonight? Again, it's guys might have played 15 minutes together. They got mixed up a little in the third. Do you think there was anything you take it like, let's keep these three together?
It's a good question. I think the best line probably was Morgan Frost with Konechny and Mishkov. And I do think you should keep that one together because obviously the first two periods, it's Couturier in the middle. They juggle the lines going into the third. I just think that there's something there with Frost and Mishkov. And look, I in no way, shape, or form am I burying Sean Couturier like I saw some people on Twitter doing. It was one game. I'm not convinced that he's fully back into a rhythm yet. I want to see how this plays out over the next few weeks and months. But I don't think right now, at least, it's the right move to have Couturier with Mishkov. I think you have to keep Frost with them. I think there's something there.
All right, Charlie. Do you have any more, Hinkle?
No.
All right. It is time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. Hit us with star number 3, Chuck.
Star number 3, I'm going to go with Tyson Foerster. I thought he had a strong game. I thought it wasn't just the goal. I thought he had a really strong game overall. He got some time on the penalty kill, which I wasn't expecting. He finishes second in ice time behind only Travis Konechny among Flyers forwards. Obviously, he gets the goal, but I thought he was impactful basically all night and had a strong two-way game. And as you mentioned, produced some offense. So he's my 3rd star.
All right, let's go to star number 2.
Star number 2, I'm going to go with Kevin Lankinen. I thought he was really good. I thought, it wasn't quite a traditional goaltender battle because it's not like this was a 0-0 or 1-1 game. But I thought Lankinen made some fantastic saves. That one robbery he had on Luchenko, I didn't think there was a chance that he was going to get to that one, and he just sprawls out and makes a big save. That would have obviously been great for the narratives. You have Mishkov and Luchenko, combined for what could have been the game winner. That would have been great for us. Unfortunately, Lankinen had other plans, but I thought he was real good. Thought he had a good game, and if it wasn't for the fact that the other goalie was just a little bit better, he'd probably be my number 1 star.
And the 1st star, inevitably, it has to be
Morgan Frost?
It's
no.
Hey, Morgan Frost came through in the shootout. Good for him. Yeah. But no, it's Sam Ersson. He had a fantastic game. John Tortorella is 100% right that that this game, maybe it wasn't won in the first period, but it could have been lost in the first period had Ersson not been as sharp as he was. He was really sharp, and he was really sharp all night, to be honest. So Ersson easily 1st star of this game.
All right, Chuck. What'd you think of Morgan Frost in the shootout? What'd you think of that, the nice patience there before I let you go?
It worked, right? Apparently, Lankinen is really good in shootouts. That's what Kevin Woodley, who covers, I don't think he covers the Canucks, or maybe he does. I think he works for NHL.com. He's like a goalie guru, so he knows a lot of stuff about goalies. He mentioned that I think going into this shootout, Lankinen had only given up 2 goals on 22 shootout attempts. Oh. So he had a track record of being real good in shootouts. So for the Flyers to beat him twice, good for Travis Konechny and Morgan Frost, and Morgan Frost comes through in a big moment. So props to you, Morgan. Well done.
All
right, Charlie. Thank you very much for joining us. We will talk again tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier than tonight, but who's to say? That is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, and he is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. That's right, it's Game Time, and I got to tell you about this new feature here, the Game Time Picks. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, that's the newest feature here at Game Time, but guess what? All the old features that made it your favorite secondary market ticket place still are in existence. The all-in pricing. They won't surprise you with any fees. The price is right there. There's no, okay, yeah, I'm going. This is great. And it's going to be for this price. And then you get to the checkout. Mentally, you're already going. It's like, oh, it's $40 more. Great, cool. And that's a low-end estimate. They don't do it there at Game Time. They show you the all-in pricing. Just the same way they show you the seat views. You can get a panoramic view from your seats in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section or row for less somewhere else. And Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. And while we're here, why don't I tell you about our friends who've been with us all night. It has been me, it has been Hinkle, it has been Bryn, and it has been ice cold Coors Light. Listen, between work, social media, life, the commercials during the game tonight, it's no wonder we're just constantly worked up and insane, and the Flyers aren't much help either. I mean, a 5-round, 65-minute game and then shootout to start the season on the West Coast. Sometimes we just need to choose to chill, and there's no better way to chill than with an ice-cold Coors Light. So whether you're freaking out about the Mad Russian not scoring yet, Luchenko perhaps blowing a coverage in his first game for a goal against, or you're freaking out because you're excited about a shootout win, it doesn't matter. You need to find the Blue Mountains in your fridge and enjoy a beer as cold as the Rockies, because when everything surrounding your favorite hockey team is on fire, like maybe Tyson Foerster is, sometimes you just got to chill. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, Hanks. That was... We still have time to get through, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. So let's do the super chats. Yeah, let's do the super chats now and see if that fills the requisite amount of time.
I love you guys so much.
From Blinson, super chat says Flyers going 82-0-0. Probably maybe 80-0-2.
81-0-1, right?
Yeah, they'll probably lose a couple. Maybe they'll rest some guys in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. They'll have the President's Trophy wrapped up around Christmas.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it'll take a couple of months, but 82, I don't think you're too far off there, Blinson. No. It is so much nicer to start the season with a win.
It really does feel nice when that happens, because you don't want to be grumpy out of the gate.
And as much as it sucks that they're opening up on the road, especially again at this time, it at least now, like, they have a win. They have 3 more road games. But if they can come home with a little bit of momentum, that just kind of builds the excitement for when they're actually home, which I actually wanted to allude to in the Game Time read. But I forgot. They are home next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, for the opener against the Canucks. So maybe you want to use Game Time to get tickets to that one.
I'll see you there, nerds.
All right, let's see this next super chat from Patrick. He says, most painful victory I've ever seen, more turnovers than my Chell team.
Now, Patrick, we've seen worse than this.
Listen, it was a sloppy win. They absolutely got outplayed for long periods of time. But this was a point I made in pregame, and I said it a couple of times leading up to the start of the season. Last year, if they got outplayed, they would lose, and lose convincingly.
Yep.
This year, it seems as if they might be able to scratch games out like this where they don't have their A game. And that's the difference. Again, that's the difference between playoff bubble, just on the outside, and actually getting in the playoffs. And I know the playoffs are not everyone's goal. Some people would like to see them drafted in the top 10 again. Some people would like to see them go 0-82 and get that first overall pick. They wouldn't. They would end up drafting second again.
Yeah.
But I just think for where this team is, like, it's a good sign that they can win this way.
Exactly.
A sloppy first game, and they have 2 points to show for it.
You can look at it as an ugly win, or you can look at it as a game they probably shouldn't have won, but they found a way to do it anyway.
Now, listen, again, a week from tomorrow when they come home and they have 4 games under their belt, a couple days off, if they're continuing to look this sloppy,
that's not good.
That will become a concern.
Today, it's fine.
But today, right now, I'm looking at this and thinking, you know what? They couldn't win games like this last year. And the fact that they did against what is a very good team. Man, Torts has been owning talk, too. That's 3 straight with a chance to go 4-0 next week. The 2 definite choices for Flyers coach a couple of years ago, going head-to-head. Torts is 3-0. But, I think it's a good thing that they were able to win this way. Now, again, if it keeps up, that's concerning. But for game 1, absolutely we'll take it.
Yep.
All right, let's go to JH, who has been with us all night. Absolutely freaking insane. You people are nuts, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid to be here, and I'm like, this is wild. The fact that you've stuck with us all night I'm so thankful for our audience.
We mean that in a nice way. Nuts is a compliment.
TF, you mean tomorrow? It's today. Also, power play ad read. What PP ad read?
I mean, today's game could be tomorrow too.
By the time we start post game tomorrow,
it's going to be tomorrow.
It will be tomorrow again, which is really disheartening
depressing
to think about.
Yeah, I don't like
but you know what? I don't really have all that much else going on in my life, so I'll just sleep in and it'll be fine. Hinkle has like all sorts of stuff going on. I mean, Charlie named us 3 stars, and I think he was correct for what he saw tonight.
Right.
My first star of the game is Kelly Hinkle.
All right, let's settle down.
I was unaware that you got off a flight home from California today at 5 p.m. I thought you got back yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You got back today and still joined us for this. This is...
I don't know where I am right now.
This is Hart Trophy stuff here. And I mean HEART trophy. You brought it tonight, and I very much appreciate you, Hinkle. You hate when people say nice things about you, and I'm going to do it because everyone needs to know how good you are and how much you helped me tonight.
Thank you, William.
Okay. That's all I wanted was a thank you. All right, from Idiot Sandwich. Hint's underdog mask, please.
I have a giant head. My head's too big.
We weren't going to do the underdog mask this year.
Okay, listen. If you're in the chat and you know where I can find orange Hulk hands for Bill, we're thinking instead of the mask this year, Bill gets orange Hulk hands.
I don't want to do the mask. I'm over the mask.
We got to find orange ones, though.
These lights are very hot. The mask is rubber.
It seems difficult to wear.
And on it, like carrying it over one year to the next, like that's bad
we
luck.
New stuff.
Like we saw what happened with the Phils when they took Dancing on My Own from 22 to 23. You can't do it. Tonight was a special night because we don't have anything else. But we will get something.
Find me Hulk hands.
We will get something for the rest of the in-studio post games.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Hat Trick Patrick. Also somebody I've noticed here with us all night. Think it was better to start OT the way they did. They were 42% on faceoffs this game. Better to wait for a line change to put Mishkov out there. Otherwise, the Knuckleheads just waste his entire shift.
That's a fair point.
It could be. And I get, listen, again, we talked about Mish. As much as I want to see him out there.
Yeah.
We talked about him maybe being a little nervous. His first 3-on-3, his very first game.
Yeah.
You know, he's got visions of an overtime goal in his head.
Sure.
And as much as I'd want that, it would be worse if he made the mistake that lost them the game.
That's true.
Like, I don't want that to happen to him yet. And now you can't play scared. But, like, I want good things for him.
Yes.
And if you protect him a little bit early and it pays off down the line.
Agreed.
Dope.
Yeah.
I don't. At the time, I wanted them to start with him.
Yeah.
But it probably makes sense to go with the veterans, Coots, TK, and Sanheim to start. All right, let's go to Linden 49.
Linden.
No real complaints. 2 points on the road. Good game.
There you
No,
go.
absolutely. I mean, this is old time hockey, right? Like, you play for a tie on the road. That's what you do. That's how we grew up.
Linden's older than us, and he's hanging at 1:58 a.m.
That's
we love to see it.
Big fan of Linden. Always.
Yeah, he's the best.
I think he's here every single show.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's had a super chat like in every show we've done for months.
He's cool as heck.
Yeah, I love Linden. Love his comments. But yeah, this is 2 points on the road. I'll take him any way you can get him. First game of the season, undefeated, baby.
Yep.
All right. From Will Wadsworth, seeing Jet out on the ice with Hughes was wild. Yeah.
Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. Yeah. That's the one there.
Yeah, he's there.
Just seeing Jet out on the ice
is wild.
When Kelly, we were together at the draft party.
Yeah.
I don't know if people were disappointed or hated the pick, but they definitely wanted Zeev and hated the trade down.
Yep.
And two, it was like, whoa, what are we doing here? Like there were
no one
guys
liked it at the time.
There were guys on the board from in the area they were who we just saw mocked them, and we heard rumors that they kind of liked this certain number of guys. And then it was someone who was, I'm not going to say totally off the board. Like if you're supposed to go 19th or 20th and you go 13th, it's not like they took a guy with a third round grade.
Reach, yeah.
But it like this wasn't Jay O'Brien.
Right.
You know, it wasn't that. And that's clear because he's already in the NHL and Jay O'Brien's like, I don't know, in Germany or something. But it's just wild seeing him out there. It's pretty cool to have a 19-year-old suited up.
18.
18.
Just 18.
Mish is 19. Luchenko just turned 18.
He's a small child.
Yeah. And we have, looks like one more from Mellerman 4. Just says...
Just giving us $2. I like it.
All right.
Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
it, Mellerman 4. Do you think the 4 is a reference to Bobby Orr?
Yeah, why not?
I just wanted to make something out of the comment. Thank you, Mellerman.
You got us.
We appreciate the tips because honestly, we've been here all night and we are very, very tired. I mean, this has been half Coors Light, half Red Bull all night. So I've been juicing, but I don't think Bryn or Kelly have, and they appreciate it.
I'm drinking electrolytes.
Yeah,
she's not helping.
They're hydrating and being responsible. I appreciate the tip though. So
yeah,
just a couple minutes left here, Hinkle. We'll have pregame for you tomorrow again at 9:30. Postgame after what will probably be a 9-round shootout, but at least we'll be doing it remotely, so that'll be a little different.
That's true. Yeah.
No, I'm saying it now, so it's a reverse jinx.
Okay.
Flyers win 5-0.
Perfect.
All the goals in the first period. We can nap through the third and then wake up and do the show.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
No
how do we think? Sam Ersson, real freaking good tonight.
Yep.
Very happy with what we got out of Sam. Fedotov tomorrow. Charlie said, listen, this kind of just seemed like a continuation of Ersson's preseason where he was, in fact, excellent, and he was excellent again tonight. Fedotov, it's his re-debut, let's call it. Like last year was his, it was like a teaser trailer. We just saw a little bit. Listen, he was like jet lagged.
Yeah.
And he a year before he
Weird
was,
pads, no helmet.
Yeah, breaking in new pads. I don't even know if that was his stick, all that. Fedotov tomorrow. We expecting him to come out and say, all right, returning serve, Sam? Or is this going to have to be maybe a little bit more offense?
I don't know, man. Because he looks terrible in every moment that I have watched him in this preseason. But also make saves.
No, he didn't
He
let
is not
in,
Cal Peterson.
He didn't let in nearly as many goals as it seemed like he should have.
Yes, exactly. But that was the preseason.
Yeah.
This is a real game against a team that's a bit of a mess, but has some firepower. Just beat the Canucks, scored 6 goals on them. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what we're going to see.
And I know like a back-to-back, maybe not ideal most of the time, but I think to start the season, like they just got warmed up tonight.
Yeah.
They came on in the third period, really. I thought that's when they kind of started to take over. So maybe since they haven't played in the 10 days prior to this, it'll be just kind of a continuation of the third period and they can carry the game a little bit.
That'll be good.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I am really looking forward to heading home and getting some sleep. And that's going to be just about all the time we have for you tonight.
We did it.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, follow us. Subscribe right here on YouTube. Hit that reminder bell. Make sure you never miss a live show. Again, tomorrow, pregame at 9:30, postgame as soon as the 12-round shootout goes final. I'm just going to keep saying it.
I know. I like it. Go.
Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast as well. Wherever you get those, just search PHLY Flyers. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button too. We need more likes. I'm not seeing nearly enough likes for how many people are here all night. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's it. Make sure you become a diehard at all PHLY. This has been the PHLY Flyers post-game presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. That's it. My name is Bill Matz. That's Kelly Hinkle for Charlie O'Connor. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.